Open up the door, it's Dave!
Who?
Dave! D-A-V-E!
Dave?
Right, man, Dave.
Dave's not here.
Buying a new car is great. The challenge is, what do you do with your old car? Do you trade it in? Do you sell it privately? Do you sell it to some other dealership that maybe isn't the same dealership that you're working with? And that's always the question. To be honest, selling your Tesla is no different than selling any other car for the most part. Now, if you do have subscriptions, that could be complicated, but I didn't. So here are the three options. The first is to sell your car privately. You take out the ad in the newspaper, you sell it to a friend, whatever it is. And there are a couple of sites online that suggest different ways to sell it, like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, Auto Trader, eBay Motors, and so on. So I went to a couple of these sites and I tried them out just to see what it was going to be like. So here's one called Sell My Used Tesla that has Teslas available for sale. Now you can see some of these have been out there for quite some time. As you go through the site, you realize that they're not selling all that quickly. So it may take a while to actually sell your car. And of course, you have to deal with people coming to your house and looking at the car or meeting them somewhere or whatever. So there's that challenge, that extra thing that goes on there that you have to consider. And you have to gauge how good the marketplace is where you live. The other places I went to were Auto Trader. Auto Trader has a sale of Teslas as well. Same kind of a problem, though. As you look through here, you start to realize it's the same issue. How many people are you going to deal with? Look, I've had some bad experiences selling cars to people over the years. It's just not my way of working through selling a car. I don't like doing this. Now, you may also notice here on this particular site, these are mostly Kelley Blue Book dealers. So you have to sell it to the dealer first, and they're going to sell it for a higher price. So this one isn't quite direct consumer to consumer. So it kind of doesn't work the way I was thinking it did when I first looked into it. The third choice that I looked into was eBay Motors. eBay Motors has a way of selling cars very much like you would any other eBay product. You just basically list it for sale, you pay a percentage to eBay, and then you go ahead and make the sale. And the transaction happens through eBay, which is kind of nice actually. But I wasn't interested in selling my car this way, and it didn't look like there was a huge marketplace in my area anyway, so perhaps this wasn't the right way to sell the car. But I get the concept, and certainly it is attractive to try and sell it this way. Option 2 is to sell it to a third party. So I went through a lot of online sites. So I went to Car and Driver and found out that my car was worth anywhere from $27,000 in a trade-in to $30,000 in a private sale. Maybe a little bit more in either case, but that gives you an idea. Car Gurus gave me a little bit more, a little bit higher on the private sale, a little bit more on the trade-in value, but gave me a perspective on what it would be. Carvana came back and actually made me an offer for $25,116. And funny thing, the day after I sold my car, they came back with about $2,500 more, which made me laugh. I found this site called Car Buyer USA that offered me $28,975, but after reading some reviews, I wasn't convinced and went away from them. I went online to try and do a CarMax offer, but they told me because it was a Tesla, I needed to bring it in and they needed to evaluate it. But they did give me a very fair offer of $27,500. I went to Kelley Blue Book and they told me I had to bring it into a dealer, which I did, and they evaluated it $25,129, which is a little low. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And then I got a Cars.com offer for a little bit more at $27,900, which I was very happy with, but they told me I needed to bring it into a dealer as well, and there was another story with that. And then finally True Cash came back with $27,400, and again, had to take it to a dealer, and well, let me tell you that story. So I got an offer for $27,500 from the CarMax. And I had gone online and done some other research and figured out what my car was worth. And a couple of the sites connected me with some dealers, and they said these dealers will be contacting you or you can contact them about this offer. So I had a couple of them that came back because I went to Cars.com or TrueCar or whatever that contacted me. Now I wound up going to one dealer that said they would make me a great offer. And it turned out to be a much lower offer than what CarMax offered. There was another one that said they could beat CarMax's offer by a couple of $100, but they were non-responsive and they were non-committal, so I let them go. Then there was a third one, and this third one came back, and the salesman was very pleasant on the phone. He called me and he said, hey, I can beat this offer by up to $1,000. And the up to always kind of throws me off a little bit when they say something like that. It's like, yeah, you're not really meaning anything by saying up to. So we went back and forth a couple of times. They basically ignored him for the most part early on. And then eventually, after we went back and forth a few times, I came back with this expectation, look, if you can come close to that $1,000 number, I'll come in. The dealership was not that close to my house, so it's a bit of a drive. It's a 35 to 40-minute drive to get there. So I wasn't really willing to go down there unless there was a strong commitment that they were going to make a deal with me. So I kept going back and forth, and I finally agreed to go down there and talk to the guy about the sale, because he said he could do probably close to the $1,000, on that upward end. So I said, okay, fine. And I made an appointment to go down there, and I was going down on a Saturday. And we confirmed a time, and that was fine. And then it came to actually confirming the appointment via text, and I got a text message that said it was going to be someone else who was going to meet me at the dealership. Okay, that's all right. I don't mind that. If you're going to give me someone else to talk to, I'm okay with it, as long as someone has the knowledge of what we've discussed. That should have been my first clue that there was going to be a problem. So I get down there, and this guy is about as aloof and distant, cold, not like your typical car salesman. Had no real warmth to him at all. And he just, he wants to matter-of-factly go and look at the car and take pictures of it. And so he goes out there, and he probably says 2 words to me when I first get there. And he goes out to the car, and he's taking pictures of it, and he's writing things down, and he's looking at it, he's inspecting it, he's doing stuff, and he's out there for like 10 minutes looking at the car. A little strange, but not that big a deal. Meanwhile, I'm inside, and I'm making a connection with a couple of other salespeople that are on the floor, just chatting with them about whatever, because they're very nice people. But this guy, I just didn't make a connection with. He comes in, he tells me to have a seat, he's going to run the numbers. And then he goes back out to the car for a minute, and he takes 2 other salespeople with him. And they're sitting out by the car, and they're talking kind of intently for a couple more minutes. And I'm thinking, this is kind of weird. I wonder what's up with that. So then he goes back in, he goes back to his office, he's in there for a few minutes, and he comes and gets me. So now it's been I've been there for 20 or 25 minutes. And the thing that I've noticed is, it's a Saturday. There is no one at the dealership. I think there is 1 customer in the entire dealership. And let me tell you, it's a Cadillac dealership. It seems kind of strange that on a Saturday there's 1 other customer there. Kind of weird. Should have been another clue for me, right? So he comes and gets me. I go into his office, and we sit down. And he's giving me the lowdown on the car. And he says, I can give you $27,500 for it, which is the exact amount that CarMax said. And I said, well, you said you could beat it by, beat CarMax's offer by up to $1,000. And he goes, well, I could probably go to 28. I go, well, I was talking to the guy about 1,000. He goes, no, I can't do that. And then he goes over the litany of reasons why he can't do it, because this is wrong with it, this needs to be repaired, it has this little scratch, there's a stain on the carpet, there's a this, there's a that, whatever. And he goes over all these different little things. It's all trivial stuff. I'm thinking, wow, that's kind of ridiculous that, you're kind of nickel and diming that way. And I'm thinking I'm going to actually be able to negotiate with him a little bit. So I try a couple of different tactics, nothing succeeding. He seems not interested in any way in negotiating with me and talking with me further and being involved in this. So I try something else. I say, it's a good number, 28. I have no issues with that. But my wife has to come down and get me. So, it's going to be a problem. Maybe I should just wait, go to CarMax and just take their money and whatever. He goes, well, why would you want to do that? I can get you a ride home. That's not a problem if we can make this deal right now. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, maybe I should go for the 28. It's $500 more. It's not a big deal. I'm already here, that sort of thing. And he goes, but. And I'm like, what's the but? What's the situation? We have a problem that our finance department is closed today. A big dealership with multiple other dealerships. It's part of an automotive group. The finance department is closed on a Saturday. And it's not even noon yet. And they're closed. And I thought about calling BS on him. I almost did. And then I was like, what do you mean they're closed? He says, yeah, they're just not open on Saturday. He goes, so what we can do all the paperwork, we can keep the car, and then on Monday we can get you a check. So you're going to keep the car, and I don't have the money for it, and I've already signed it over. Nope, that's not happening. Or I could come back on Monday and do this again. That's not happening either. I look at the guy and I go, no, I'm not going to do this deal then. I'm just going to go back to CarMax because they're going to give me a check right now on the spot, and I'm going to walk away, and I'll probably be in there for less than half an hour, less time than I've spent with you already. And so I get up to leave. He goes, okay. And that was the end of that, and I just got in my car and drove off. He didn't make any other effort to try. He didn't make any other effort to follow up. Nothing. He just let me walk out of the dealership, which tells me that they really weren't interested in the car. And in fact, they did waste my time after I specifically said, don't waste my time. they wasted my time. How did they not know that the finance department was not going to be open on a Saturday? Seriously? That's just stupid. So my advice to you is, if you're ever in Miami looking for a Cadillac, don't go to Ocean Cadillac, because they're going to jerk you around a little bit. And they're part of a larger automotive group, so just be aware of that. You can look them up if you're looking for a car in Miami. You might not want to do anything with them. So just a thought. Of course, the third option is just to trade it in when you get another Tesla or any other car. So I went to the Tesla website and I was going through, and they offered me 23.1 back in January when I first ordered my Model Y. When I logged back in March, when my Model Y was ready, they changed the offer to decrease it to 22.8. Wow, that's pretty low. So I realized that I had the offer from CarMax for 27.5, so why would I take 22.8? I'll go through the extra work. So I went ahead and checked the box that the offer was too low and I was rejecting their offer, and then put in some comment that I actually was going to take the CarMax offer because it was a better value. And for me, that seemed like the best option, to just go ahead and take my plates from CarMax, take them with me when I went to the Tesla dealer, and just have them installed on the car, and I could just drive off. So I went ahead and put that information in here too. I don't show you that, but I went ahead and added that information about the plate so that they would take the plate off the car. So after a lot of back and forth, it turned out that CarMax made me the best offer on the car. It was more than I expected anyway, so can't go wrong. So I'm very happy with it. So if you decide to sell your Tesla, there are two things that you need to do to your car to make sure that it's ready to move on from you. The first is you need to go to the screen inside the car and actually go to the service mode, and then down at the bottom there's a factory reset. And what that does is it clears out all of your profiles, all of your driving history, all of your browsers, everything that you've done, so the car moves back to being in a default state. So that way your profiles and the information that you've stored in the car are no longer there. The second thing is, well, as soon as you sell the car, you want to remove it from the app. And in doing that, it actually takes the app away, takes the car out of your profile, so you no longer are responsible for it. It's two little things that you just need to know to do to make sure that your car has moved on and it's no longer your responsibility. Now, I will tell you that when you sell the car, the only thing that they request that goes with it is the J1772 adapter that you have that hooks it up, so you can hook up to a J1772 to your Tesla adapter, so that way you can plug it into your car. And that's a really easy thing to have, and they give you a new one when you buy a new car. So I just made sure it was in the little cubby there, so it went with the car, and that was the end of that. No problem, really pretty easy and straightforward. I think the sale of the car was actually very easy from that perspective. There was just those couple of things you had to do to be able to move the car.
What's your point, David?